Today we're uh, going beyond just scrolling. We're looking at social media, but maybe the parts we don't talk about as much.
Yeah, let's call it the underbelly. We all use these platforms, see the good stuff, the connections, the funny videos.
Right. Cat videos mostly.
Yeah, maybe. But our sources dig into some less obvious things going on behind the screen.
And you listening, you probably use this stuff every day. So our mission here is to kind of unpack what's really happening based on what we've been reading.
Exactly. To get, properly informed, we're looking at things like how addictive they can be, the mental health side, misinformation, privacy, the whole package, really.
Okay, so let's start with that addictive quality because it feels real. You pop open an app for like 2 minutes
And an hour evaporates, yeah.
and the sources are pretty clear. This isn't an accident, is it?
Not at all. It's actually quite deliberate. They use these known psychological principles. Think dopamine loops.
Dopamine. Okay, the reward chemical.
Precisely. And specifically, something called variable rewards. It's like gambling, almost. You pull the lever on the slot machine or you refresh your feed. Sometimes you get a reward, a like, a comment, something interesting.
But not every time.
Not every time. And that unpredictability is actually more compelling. It keeps you coming back for that maybe this time hit.
Ah, okay. And the notifications play into this too. Those little red dots.
Oh, absolutely. They're triggers. Classic conditioning, almost. Your brain learns to associate that ping or that little red circle with a potential social reward.
So you get this urge, this reflex to just check.
Even if you logically know it's probably nothing urgent, it's a learned response designed to pull you back in.
Which leads pretty neatly into the next big area, mental health. Because that constant pull, that comparison, the sources link heavy use to anxiety, depression.
Especially among teenagers, yeah. And body image issues, too. It's a recurring theme.
And a lot of that seems tied to how people present themselves online, right?
Yeah.
Like on Instagram, maybe?
Definitely. You're seeing the highlight reel. It's curated. It's the best moments, often edited, filtered. It's not the messy reality of everyday life.
It looks like everyone else is having this amazing, perfect time. All the time.
And that's where the comparison engine kicks in. Even if on some level, you know it's curated.
You still feel it. You look at that and think, wow, my life isn't that exciting, or why don't I look like that?
Exactly. It's called upward social comparison. You compare yourself to people who seem better off, even if that perception is based on a very selective reality they're showing. And it can really chip away at your self-esteem.
Even when you know better. That's kind of unsettling.
It works on a subconscious level sometimes.
Okay, let's pivot slightly. Misinformation. This feels huge, societally. The sources say algorithms don't really care about truth, do they?
Not primarily, no. Their main goal, generally, is engagement, keeping you on the platform.
So clicks, comments, shares, arguments.
Bingo. Content that gets strong reactions, positive or negative, anger, outrage, shock, that stuff gets boosted. Why? Because it makes people react, comment, share.
So a really inflammatory or maybe even false piece of news could spread like wildfire.
Much faster, often, than a careful, factual correction. Because the outrageous stuff gets more engagement.
And that really skews your perception, doesn't it? You end up thinking the world is like way crazier or angrier than it might actually be just based on your feed.
It absolutely can create echo chambers and warp your sense of reality. And we see the real world fallout.
Yeah, like impacting elections or public health stuff. It's not just online chatter.
The consequences are very tangible.
Okay. Another, maybe less visible aspect is data. Privacy. Our sources really hammer this point, but we're not just users.
We're often the product being sold. That's a hard truth for some people.
So everything we do, likes, clicks, how long we look at a post,
Every single interaction is a data point. It's all tracked, harvested, analyzed.
and then used for,
Okay.
well, targeted ads, obviously.
Ads are the most visible part, sure, but it goes deeper. This data builds incredibly detailed profiles about you, your habits, your interests, your moods, potentially even your vulnerabilities.
It's kind of creepy. The sources mention they can sometimes predict things like loneliness or when you might impulse buy.
The predictive power is quite sophisticated. They might understand certain patterns in your behavior better than you consciously do yourself.
And the concern is that this isn't just about selling you sneakers, right? It's about potentially shaping behavior on a larger scale.
That's the ethical question, isn't it? When does targeted advertising cross the line into subtle manipulation? It's a very gray area.
And this must hit younger people differently, kids and teens growing up inside this system.
Absolutely. Their sense of self, their self-worth, can get tangled up with these online metrics, the likes, the followers.
Yeah.
It becomes a measure of value.
Yeah, approval measured in numbers on a screen. That sounds precarious.
It can be, especially during those really formative adolescent years.
Okay, so we've painted a bit of a dark picture here based on the sources, but it's not all doom and gloom, right? There are things we can actually do.
Definitely. Awareness is the first step, which
Yeah.
is what we're doing now. But beyond that, yes, there are strategies. It's about regaining some control.
Like what? What can people listening actually try?
Well, for starters, curate your feed actively. If an account makes you feel bad or inadequate or angry all the time, just unfollow it. You control who you follow.
That seems simple, but probably effective. What else?
Turn off most push notifications. Those constant interruptions are designed to pull you back in, reclaim your attention. Don't let the app dictate when you check it.
Taking breaks helps too, I imagine, like a digital detox, people call it.
Absolutely. Stepping away for a weekend or even just an evening can reset your perspective. Remind you there's a world outside the screen.
And being more critical of the information itself.
Crucial, especially with misinformation. Ask, who posted this? What's their agenda? Is this designed to make me angry or scared? Check other sources before sharing.
And the privacy side.
Be mindful of what you share. Check your privacy settings. Understand that often free services are paid for with your data. Make conscious choices about that trade-off.
So it really boils down to being more intentional, more conscious about how we use these tools.
Exactly. Be the one driving, not the one being driven by the algorithm.
Okay, so just to recap this deep dive, we've touched on the addictive design, the mental health implications, how misinformation spreads, and the whole data privacy issue.
Yeah, quite a journey through the less sunny side of social media.
But importantly, the sources aren't necessarily saying delete everything. There are good aspects, right? Community, creativity.
Activism, connection, learning, absolutely. It's a tool, and tools can be used in many ways.
So the real takeaway seems to be about awareness, setting boundaries for yourself, thinking critically.
Being mindful. Knowing how these platforms work allows you to engage with them on your own terms.
Which maybe leads to a final thought for you, the listener. Reflecting on all this, are you in control of your scroll? Or is the scroll controlling you?
Yeah, something to think about. Are you letting the algorithms shape your experience, maybe even your mood, without realizing it? It's about engaging intentionally, perhaps, and not letting the endless feed steal your peace of mind.